this stupid, slow computer. Stupid. My computer's so stupid and slow. It's so slow. I should have rebooted it. I was getting this traffic jam at the end of the day where I don't really want to reboot it in case it takes a long time. It's a long story. So I always end up going, I can make it. Anyway, hey man, the Kahuna's here. Well, sorry, let's start the show officially. Hey everybody, what's up? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What's shaking on your Friday night? I'm excited for this Friday night show for a couple reasons. Number one, that means I don't have to do a show tomorrow. Number two, that means I go to the big radio company all day on Sunday. Yeah. Live from 5 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon. Well, first newscast starts at, is it 5:55 or 6:55? I don't even know. Anyway, and stuff. So, heading into a Happy New Year weekend. By the way, if you really, really want to, there is an episode from a couple of years ago. It's called Tomapalooza. It's 8 hours long. If you, over the weekend, get the desire to watch some Tom Gully show. And it was New Year's Eve, I want to say 2020. And I did 8 hours on the air straight. And there's a guest every hour, I think. And some people like it. Others don't. It would also might be one of the very few occasions anybody ever sees me drinking. I may have been doing a little drinking, which I normally don't do. But anyway, the big Kahuna's here. Karen Garvey is here. Thank you. I don't know what you mean by Dwayne Eddy, but okay. Quadrillion TV is here. I've seen that name around. I believe I've interacted with you before, but I do love the name. The Kahuna's here with the big thumbs up. SG Fanboy is here. That's awesome. Goat is here. I know where that person comes from, but I don't know which specific person it is. Let me see here. Hugh is here. Says, finally got to make a live show this week. Thanks, Tom. Don't thank me. You did all the work. Karen Garvey's here and welcoming people. SG Fanboy says, New Year's Eve is a dumb holiday, but I'll watch your special. Well, people that do actual drinking call it amateur night, I've been told. This is what I've been told. Karen Garvey is waving a pink hand at someone. The Wolf emailed me and he bought a shirt and the logo isn't big enough for him. He thought it was going to be bigger. But the new style, I've been reliably informed by lots of people, is to not have the logo be as big. It's supposed to be a little small. It's not supposed to be giant. It's supposed to be a little small. If I was him, I would send it back and ask for my money back. And then I would also make him a better one later on. Sorry about it. It's the first complaint I've ever gotten from one of my products. And it's from one of my best friends in the world. It hurts. It really hurts. Hey there, Karen. Hey, by the way, behind me is a memorial in the cornfield where Buddy Holly and his buddies crashed. One of many memorials, by the way. Hey, you know what? Speaking of great merchandise, you can go to thetomgullyshow.com or cafepress.com/The Tom Gully Show and get a wide variety of top quality name brand merchandise like this clock here, which hopefully the logo's big enough for people. Hopefully. Got other people waiting on clocks, apparently. And what else can I show you? Hey, I bought a new set of headphones. They're not super expensive ones or anything. I think I might buy super expensive ones later, but I did need a new pair of headphones for my big time radio job here. And I got these ones. I don't even know if these ones is an official thing I can say, but they click like that, and then they click like that. You don't want to use the ones at the station. They're nasty. And then they click open like this a couple times and like this. But I got them in this red color because I got an Amazon gift card for $25. What else was I going to use it on? And I got the overnight delivery, and all of it all in only cost me $4. So I got these headphones, which I'm not going to wear on the show ever, probably, because they're too big and bulky, and I don't like them visually. And then very long cord. These are awesome, but the cord is not very long. So anyway, I don't know why I'm showing you guys. I was just excited about it. That'll just give you an idea of how absolutely uneventful my life is as I sit here dealing with the effects of sciatica. I had to go to the grocery store today. I started to walk to the grocery store, and I stopped probably, I don't know, 100, 200 yards into my walk of about 5 or 6 blocks and said, you know something, Tom? I think you better just go ahead and call an Uber, even though it's a 5 or 6 block thing, because you're not going to make it. You're in too much agony. And it's, see, I open this up, and I'm not going to be able to get it closed properly. You're not going to make it, big fella. You don't stand a chance of making it, big fella. Because it hurts too bad. So the guy drove me over there. Using the cart at the grocery store actually helps. And then I got driven home too. Yeah, that's what it did. Hey there, Karen. People saying hi to everybody. Clock with an L. Yes, you got to be careful how you pronounce that. Karen Garvey says, I love the big and bulky headphones. So comfortable. They really are. And you don't care what you look like when you're on the radio, because you're not on a camera. So you don't care if you got big, bulky, mashing your hair down in the middle on the top. Who cares? Who cares? Nobody cares. Certainly not I. Woody from Syracuse says, Gully, Woody. But you don't want to use the ones at the station. If indeed you can find any, they are nasty. People saying hello. I'm glad you didn't buy those dumb air traffic controller headphones KB wears. You mean the kind with the... No, I didn't. I can't. I got to use a real microphone. People saying hi. Let's see. Goat says, classic case of NGMI. Not going to make it. Yeah. I started walking, and it was just like... And it's weird because... And I was told this was going to happen. Like, I keep stretching. I keep doing all these exercises. And then I'll go, like, most of a day. And I won't have that much pain. It's very bearable. I can walk normally. And then out of nowhere, bam, it's back really bad. And then I try to sleep at night. Sometimes I'm okay. Sometimes mortal agony. And I've been told that's just the way it's going to go for a couple weeks. And I'm not very happy about that. I'm hoping tomorrow when I go to Sunday when I go to the big radio company that the adrenaline will help me out. I don't have any way of knowing for sure whether it's going to happen. Woody said, good you didn't get Starring John stolen library headphones. I remember the kind at the library, those hard plastic. Karen Garvey says, how you doing? Yeah, and I'm taking a lot of ibuprofen, which probably isn't good for your stomach. Sorry, let's swing that around. What brand is this? Signature. This is the store brand ibuprofen. Okay, store brand. And I don't think there's any medical people here, but I'm wondering if Advil, is there something about Advil that just makes it better? Because I know the active ingredient is the same, but I also know that last Sunday I took 2 Advil, just 2. And I felt pretty good last Sunday at the big radio company, inside the big radio building in the downtown fancy place. And I'm thinking I should just get Advil and pay the extra money. It did feel good. Kahuna says 2 months of acupuncture fixed my sciatica I had for over a year. It was horrible. Oh God, how can you have it for over a year? I'm a licensed doctor of thugonomics. If you don't want to eat a bunch of opiates, you could always try kratom, anything red bali or mangda. I just want it to be better. I don't want to eat a lot of stuff. By the way, you can go to the TomGullyShow.com and go to get merchandise, or cafepress.com/the Tom Gully Show and get merchandise. Or you can go to paypal.me/Tom Gully Show, as two people in the room right now have done. And I really appreciate that. It really helps out. Patreon.com/the Tom Gully Show. Also a great place to go. One person in the room right now has done that. And then a bunch of people from my family. And that's the cheapest thing, is like $3 for exclusive content, if you're hard up for exclusive content. And why are we doing this? I am going to play you a commercial from my childhood. Well, not my childhood, from my younger days. And this is going to tell you why, by golly. And hopefully this doesn't echo. But this is going to tell you exactly why that this needs to be done. He'll say the words inside of this commercial here. Hold on.
We have a sale only one time each year. It's a closeout sale of over 450 1982 Buicks. Now, this is a sale that really is a sale. This means that nobody will sell you a new Buick for less money. Why a closeout sale? You save money. That sells cars. And old Dave needs the money. That's why. Dave Mason Buick. Where else?
Okay, so there's a couple of things about this commercial. This guy, and I couldn't find any of these other commercials, but he used to do a commercial that just went, nobody but nobody will sell you a new or used car for as cheap as Dave Mason Buick. Nobody. But then the other thing he says in this, and he did that for years and years and years, and then that got old, and he decided to start doing the ones that said, why? 'Cause old Dave needs the money. That's why. So with that in mind, let's listen again, shall we?
50 1982 Buicks. Now, this is a sale that really is a sale. This means that nobody will sell you a new Buick for less money. Why a closeout sale? You save money. That sells cars. And old Dave needs the money. That's why. Dave Mason Buick.
Right.
Where else?
Hey, where else? So if you got a few bucks going in the new year, you'd like a few of them to come my way. Some of you have already gone above and beyond the call. I'm going to say, tell you, one person in this room, $50. Another person in this room, both PayPal and Patreon. I'm not going to mention any names because they didn't want to be, called out in front of everybody. Okay, so Goat says if you don't want to eat a bunch of I already did that one. Let's see here. Dabble Jew, no, ibuprofen, all the same. MG can differ. Okay. That's what I thought. Advil's only a brand name, but there's nothing different in it. Kratom works, yes. Herbal opiate, it becomes habitual. Be careful. I used it for collapsed discs. I'm not going to use that. It just strikes me as, I know the active ingredient is the same, but the thing about this ibuprofen is it's raw ibuprofen, and the only thing so I know the active ingredient is identical. But I thought to myself, does Advil just have a better delivery mechanism? Don't know. I kind of suspect they're the same. Goat says, what's it to you? Dave Mason Buick. I got to get those what's it to you shirts underway here. Terry Nee says, received the Tom Gully clock today. Its collectible value accrues starting now. I'll never be late for dinner again. Terry, make sure and take a picture of that once you get it up against the wall, with yourself in the picture if possible. Woody from Syracuse says, I hate current local ads for dealerships where the announcers are so flipping annoying. I go to Binghamton and the guy makes one syllable word feel like seven. Well, this guy, the guy that did that commercial, I believe his real name is Bob Catterson. And Bob Catterson owned that dealership and then sold it to his top salesperson, Dave Mason. And Bob Catterson used to be Nobody will have nobody. And I like him because he's kind of understated. He's old school. And by the way, did you see the price on that 82 Buick? $450? Yeah. The liquid Advils work quicker. I might just... Attorney says, where do I post it? On my YouTube page, there is a email. My email's on there. So you can just send it to me on email if you want. That would work. Or you could post it if you're a follower of the Tom Gully Show Facebook page. That would be fine as well. I guess you could put it on Twitter. I don't monitor Twitter all that much, but you could do it there. By the way, I'm going to find out today if we're going to get back on one of our old networks here soon, which really just means I'm posting this YouTube program on their Facebook page. That's all it really means. But they're good people. They're damn good people. Okay, gosh. All right. Let me tell you about the Buddy Holly plane crash. Some people call it the day the music died. On February 3rd, 1959, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens... Oh, wait, sorry. Hold on. There we go. That ought to help us out a little bit. Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper, J.P. Richardson, all perished in a plane crash along with the pilot, Roger Peterson, as they went down near Clear Lake, Iowa. That happened. We all know it, especially if you saw the Buddy Holly story movie, and I did. And I not only have the Buddy Holly story movie, I've got the soundtrack. Hey. Everybody knows that information from songs like The Day the Music Died, or another really great song called 3 Stars, that not as many people are aware of, but let's get into some detail, because you never hear the details. And it starts with us having to set the scene a little bit. In late 1958, Buddy Holly went out on his own, leaving the Crickets behind. No longer Buddy Holly and the Crickets, just Buddy Holly now. And he needed the cash. Old Buddy needed the money. That's why. And some say it was because the Crickets manager had stolen a whole bunch of money from Buddy. And that was part of the breakup. Others say it was because he wanted to move to New York with his very new, very pregnant wife. So Buddy agreed to go on what was called the Winter Dance Party Tour. And you see that on the poster right there next to me that I'm looking at now. That's the poster right there. I'd recognize it anywhere. And he put together kind of a legendary band. Okay, here was the band that Buddy Holly had with him. His bass player, Waylon Jennings. Some of you may have heard of him. His guitar player was a gentleman by the name of Tommy Allsup, who you might not have heard his name, but he is a huge figure in the world of country and rockabilly, and has worked on tons of stuff, even with Bob Wills and obviously Buddy Holly. And then Carl Bunch, who's another famous guy who was mostly associated with Buddy Holly. Now, these guys weren't messing around on this tour. As you see there, Dion and the Belmonts, Richie Valens, Big Bopper, Buddy Holly. It says, and the Crickets. Not really. Not the original Crickets. It was these guys I just mentioned. So they were not messing around, as their schedule had them covering 24 cities in 24 days. And that's kind of a problem, and we'll get to that in a second. So, Richie Valens, you know the story. The Big Bopper, hello, baby. Along with Dion and the Belmonts, who are really a huge act. And if you look into the Dion and the Belmonts catalog, is Dion the one that did The Wanderer? Who did The Wanderer? If not, I'll find out in a second. Yeah, Dion did The Wanderer. Well, I'm the type of guy who will never settle down. where pretty girls are. Well, you know that I'm around. I kiss them and I love them. Put your hands together. You know the words. Let them hear you outside. You know that guy, Dion. All right. So pretty big tour there. Pretty big thing, right? Right? No, you know what I'm saying? All right. Now, all the traveling that I mentioned, 24 cities, 21 days, that was a big issue, and it was a big issue in a hurry because nobody in the promoter group did the math on the distances between shows or the timing of the shows. So they weren't just going from town to nearest town to nearest town to nearest town. Okay, so they weren't going St. Louis to Indianapolis to Chicago. They were going St. Louis to New York to Chicago to Kansas to Indianapolis. I mean, they were zigzagging all over the place and driving these amazing distances. No days off, with the band traveling most of the day. So they get up in the morning. They are traveling till an hour or two before the show starts. They're not even staying in a hotel. Okay? And this is in brutally cold weather. We'll get to that in a second. Oh, and the interstate highway system had not been built yet. So they were on crappy 2-lane podunk highways in the middle of nowhere with very few convenient stops for them to, I don't know, get out, have a meal, take a squirt, you know what I'm saying? In the parlance of our time. All right. So all these acts were traveling in just one bus. And more good news, the buses kept breaking down and being replaced. There was also no road crew, so the acts were loading and unloading the buses themselves, and they were traveling through waist-deep snow in these buses, with temperatures sometimes dipping to negative 37 degrees. Sound like fun? Well, the Clear Lake, Iowa show had not originally even been on tour. It was not listed as a tour date, but promoters had an open slot, and boy, oh boy, were they going to fill it. When they got there, this guy here, Buddy Holly, some have said that's Donnie Iris. It could also be Marshall Crenshaw. He was furious about the bus problems. I mean, furious, right? As well he should be. And their next stop after Clear Lake, Iowa was going to be 365 miles away through, again, brutal cold up into Minnesota, which meant another 8 hours on the bus. And the heater in the bus was broken. So, Buddy Holly chartered a plane for himself and his band. That's one of the stories. We'll hear another one later. Planning on flying to Fargo, North Dakota, which was actually kind of close to Morehouse, Minnesota. And they would just be picked up and taken to that show in Morehouse, Minnesota. So the chartered flight really is not that expensive at the time. All right. It was to be piloted by 21-year-old Roger Peterson, who grew up in the flying world. And the fee per passenger was only $36, which is just under $500 in today's money. Okay? But think about it. A chartered flight under $500 one way, not that bad, really. Not that bad. And they were flying a 1947 Beechcraft Bonanza with the V-wing in back. And that's what you see on the screen right now. And it only seats 3 people plus the pilot. Well, it turns out that no members of Buddy Holly's band made that flight. And I'll tell you more in just a second. Paz says, hey, Tom. Nice to see you, Paz. SG Fanboy says, Terry Nee, it's better than an old Tonight Show watch, to be sure. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. The Wolf says, come on, that's Donnie Iris. It could be Donnie Iris. It could also be, as I mentioned, Marshall Crenshaw. Marshall Crenshaw gets asked to play Buddy Holly in a lot of movies, or at least he did when he was younger. Terry Nee is saying hi to somebody. Karen Garvey said they died because someone wanted more money. That's a pretty big reason. You would think that many stars, 4 giant acts of the day, they would have made sure they were taken care of with a really good bus. And you would have thought the promoters would have made it as easy as possible. I mean, that's just stupid. Because you can make a lot more money, hit this city, hit that city, hit that, and pick them off as you go. You might even be able to do 2. Like you could do an afternoon show in Indianapolis, drive to Chicago. It's only 2 hours, 3 maybe, and do an evening show. I mean, it's just not even smart if you're money grubbing. But anyway, that's what happened. The Wolf says, well, if they landed at Fargo, they would have ended up in a wood chipper. So I guess that's your partner there in the wood chipper. All for just a little bit of money. Where did I leave us? Here. So apparently the Big Bopper had developed the flu during the tour, and he asked Waylon Jennings for his seat. Holly, on learning Waylon Jennings was not going to fly, he said as a joke, well, I hope your damn bus freezes up. And in return, Waylon Jennings said, well, I hope your old plane crashes. And that apparently messed with Waylon for the rest of his life. He felt terrible about it. Richie Valens had feared flying his whole life, but asked Tommy Alsop for his seat. I'm sorry, every time I hear Tommy Alsop, I think of 2 things. Number 1, there's a nice little display on him at the White Elephant Saloon in Fort Worth, where there's near the piano, because he played more than one instrument. And I have a Bob Wills reunion CD. It's called For the Last Time. Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys For the Last Time. It was made in the early 70s, I think. And Bob Wills is there, but he's had a couple of strokes. So all he can do, instead of going, he can just go, ah. That's all he can do. But the lead singer, a couple of times, he'll go, there's Tommy Alsop now. Gonna play that fiddle, or whatever he says. Anyway, Tommy Alsop. Valens asked Tommy Alsop for his seat, and the 2 ended up flipping a coin for it, which Valens won, saying, that's the first time I ever won anything in my life. Apparently the last time or 2. Dion from Dion and the Belmonts, we've established who he is, tells a different story involving what happened, saying that Buddy Holly brought Dion, the Big Bopper, and Richie Valens into a room and said, look, we deserve to go on the plane because we're the guys making all the money here. And so we don't need to be on that bus. And Dion did not want to take it because apparently at the time, $36 was more than his parents in New York were paying for an apartment. And he thought it was too extravagant. That's why he didn't get on the plane. I kind of don't believe that story. The other one's been backed up by a lot of people, but that's what Dion says. So the flight apparently took off in light snow and a little bit of cloud cover. And those watching the takeoff saw the lights during the ascent go into the clouds. And then they saw it start to descend sort of out of sight. Following that, there was absolutely no radio contact. So later, the flight route was retraced by air, and the wreckage was spotted 6 miles away. The plane was apparently going about 170 miles an hour. The right wing struck the ground first, creating a huge furrow in the ground. With the wing then breaking off, the fuselage landed upside down, bounced 50 feet, and then rolled, finally striking the ground another time. The bodies of all the performers were thrown from the plane. Everyone, according to the coroner, died instantly. Mrs. Buddy Holly found out about Buddy's death on the TV news only 6 months into her marriage, and she was pregnant at the time. Buddy Holly's mother found out by listening to the radio. She was listening to the radio in Lubbock, Texas, and apparently collapsed upon hearing it. The tour, however, continued. Bobby V, only 15 years old at the time, filled in for Buddy, Waylon Jennings did all the lyrics for Buddy's songs for the rest of the tour. And show must go on, I guess. Individual funerals were held. Buddy and the Bopper were buried in Texas, Valens in California. The inexperience of the 21-year-old pilot was blamed, along with a poor assessment of the weather conditions, as well as some issues that came up later regarding the plane and subsequent learnings of improper weight disbursement as it involved the fuel. Sometimes the fuel could make, the plane a little bit imbalanced. There was also maybe an issue of weight disbursement in the actual plane itself. Maybe the Big Bopper and somebody else were on the wrong side of the plane. I don't know. And then that plane also had a tradition of the right rudder vader failing. And so there's been some people that have tried to clear the pilot in that, but most people in the NTSB said, no, it was pilot inexperience. And that's the way things happened on the day the music died. Here is one of the many monuments on the site. That's exactly where it happened, out there in Clear Lake, Iowa, a big pair of sunglasses, And then this is in front of the theater that they last performed at. So those two monuments exist. There is actually another monument. It's right behind me, which is just flowers and stuff. So there you are. That's what happened the day the music died. They were not singing Bye Bye Miss America Pie, drove the Chevy to the levee, but the levee. That, to my knowledge, that never occurred. Not once. Oh, let's see here. Karen Garvey says, nice Fargo accent, Tom. Thank you. Thank you. He's fleeing the interview. He's fleeing the interview. Well, you got to get that true coat, Okay. Weather conditions weren't well known then. There was a light snow going on at the time. So, they knew that weather condition. There was a low cloud cover. But you have to remember, these planes, these Beechcraft Bonanzas were considered kind of the gold standard of private planes at the time, at least ones that weren't Learjet or whatever. Everybody was flying these. And, that particular plane has been credited with a lot of the private plane owner movement in the United States. I remember when I was a kid, we knew people that owned those. They were not, they were widely in use. So a 21-year-old that had been flying one for 3 or 4 or 5 years probably thought, hey, you know what? I don't have to fly this thing 10,000 feet. I can fly 2,500 feet or whatever I need to. I'm only going from Clear Lake, Iowa to Fargo, North Dakota. There aren't any mountains. It's all flat land. So who knows what happened or what they were thinking. But good point, Terry Nee. The Wolf says, how many great musicians lost their lives in those tin boxes? Too many. Flying. Yeah, well, a lot of people in play. Carol Lombard and Will Rogers. And, of course, Stevie Ray Vaughan was a helicopter. But, a lot. Too many. Ricky Nelson, didn't he die in a plane crash? Incidentally, I think very soon I will do the Lynyrd Skynyrd plane crash. And that'll be kind of interesting because I actually have, and I'll play it, I actually interviewed their tour manager that was on the plane and crashed, and it survived with Lynyrd Skynyrd. Reverend Wild Bill said, I will never tell Google I feel lucky again. The Reverend Wild Bill always makes it out like he used the do you feel lucky function on, and that's what brought him here, which I think is hilarious. It's not the accident that hurts you, says Wild Bill. It's that stud and stop that does it. Yeah. H.C. Frick says, crazy to think of Waylon Jennings doing Buddy Holly songs. Oh, yeah. Well, they're both Texas boys, if I'm not mistaken. People saying hi to each other. Uncle Jack, it was probably a faulty Google Chrome. Well, I think most of the world's problems can be traced to a faulty Google Chrome. That's certainly no surprise. People saying hello, 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 hello. Tyler Schollenberger's here. I don't know if Tyler's ever been to Clear Lake, Iowa. I know that he's been to Davenport, Iowa. He's from the Quad Cities. You know, I always thought I'd see more wheelchairs in the Quad Cities. That's my last one of 2023. Yep, Stevie Van Zandt. I threw an ashtray at somebody. It wasn't, maybe it was a paperweight that the person who told me Stevie Ray Vaughan had died was a little too excited and a little too happy about it. The Buddy Holly crash actually happened not too far from me, says Tyler Schollenberger. Well, Tyler, then you're probably familiar with this. That really great monument. Tyler says, yes, I've been to Clear Lake. Uncle Jack is saying hello to folks. The American Cupcake is here, and he is an actual cupcake. Oh, there's another one. Lyndon, yes. Otis Redding. Otis Redding. And who is the one? She's in a movie called Romeo is Bleeding. And I think her plane was filled with too much stuff or something. It's amazing to me that these people don't realize where their bread's buttered and stuff. They just, well, we'll just take off. Yes, I'm familiar and I've seen the crash before. Let's see here. Romeo is Bleeding, which is a really good movie. It has nothing to do with the Tom Waits song. Romeo is bleeding. Gives the man a ticket. Am I thinking of the wrong movie here? Is it Aaliyah? Was that her name? A-L-I-Y-H. Aaliyah. Singer. Oh, there it is. American singer and actress. I think she died in a plane crash as well, and it was a stupid plane crash. It was because there was too much stuff in the back of the seat. Yeah, they boarded twin-engine Cessna. Passengers had grown impatient because it was supposed to arrive at a certain time. They had trouble starting one of the engines. Aircraft was overloaded by 700 pounds when it attempted to take off and was carrying one more passenger than certified for. So, I mean, 700 pounds, it's just too much. The pilot had falsely obtained his FAA license by showing hundreds of hours he had never flown. He also may have falsified how many hours he had flown to get a job with his employer. Additionally, toxicology tests performed on the pilot revealed traces of cocaine and alcohol in his system. Man, I know a guy who flew MC Hammer around in his heyday. And this dude, first of all, he had a storied career in the Navy, and he wasn't a pilot in the Navy. He was a CPO. And he got out and became a pilot, became a commercial pilot, and then became a private pilot for, elite folks, charter pilot. And he flew MC Hammer around everywhere, and he was serious as a judge about it. In fact, he's on the list of people on the platinum record. He's got one in his house for Can't Touch This. That the MC Hammer thought so much of him. And those are the guys you want. You can't skimp on that. You just can't skimp on that. And if you have a driver, say you're one of those acts that doesn't fly and you're going to be on a bus, which personally, think about it. How much does a plane cost? How much does it cost to fly all over the place? How much does one of those awesome buses cost? And you get somebody that's amazing at driving it, and that's their only job, and you pay them pretty well, you're still coming out way ahead. I don't know how you can skimp on those type of things. I really don't. Let's see, American Cupcake being greeted warmly. John Denver. Well, John Denver did himself in because he thought he was a better pilot than he was, and he was flying an experimental aircraft. Yes, there, American Cupcakes. Got it. Aaliyah. And the Reverend says Lena. And the Wolf says, yes, it was her. And Uncle Jack says, John Denver died in a plane crash? That's something I didn't. Oh, yeah, you should look that out. Look that up, Uncle Jack. He didn't just slightly die in a plane. I mean, he was flying something very experimental, which was something he liked to do. And he straight into, I believe, the water, which people go, oh, the water, he had a chance. No, you don't have a chance if you hit the water the way he did. You might as well be hitting cement. Randy Rhoads, Aaliyah, that was it. Romeo Must Die is the movie. I have the movie. I don't know why I couldn't remember the name. And it was terrible. That girl was amazingly talented. She was a good actress. She was going to have a spectacular career. And people just trying to do it on the cheap and not willing to be patient. And 700 pounds, that's way too much to have a Cessna overloaded by. And you can't just have it loaded with the proper weight. That weight has to be dispersed properly. American Cupcakes, I just said that. I just said that. American Cupcake, I feel your pain. Sometimes I say things in chat, and then someone will say it that's on the show, or someone will repeat it in the chat, and I'll be like, I just got done. What did I say? Uncle Jack said, that's one big passenger. I'm not saying you're fat. I'm just saying you're a whole lot of woman. Reverend Wild Bill, Aaliyah died after making the vampire movie she was in as Queen of the Vampires. Yeah, it hadn't been released, but it had been made. Queen of the Damned, yes. Left Eye Lisa from TLC too. Can't remember what she passed from. Was hers a plane crash or a car crash? I can't remember. MC Hammer is like a minister now, I think. I think so. I believe Left Eye was in a car accident. I think you're right. Romeo Must was the movie. Don't skip my chat. Don't skip my chat. Don't you minimize me, and don't you define me. The Wolf says, plus the percentage of you die if you crash is much less in a bus. Thank you, Wolf. Yes, it is. John Madden drove a bus all those years. If I ever made it big, it'd be buses. I don't ever want to fly again. Not anywhere. Not anywhere. Or the train. Can we get the trains going again in this country, please? Can we? I took a train, and this has been some years ago. I got one of those little roomettes on Amtrak, and I went from Union Station, LA to Union Station, Dallas. Now, it took us 37 hours. 11 of those hours, I think, were in San Antonio, where they were regassing up, restocking, remaintenancing the train. So everybody got off the train. We went down to Denny's. Everybody ate. Everybody came back. But I had a little roomette that I could close. I could put the curtains on. I could lay out on the two connected seats as a bed. I mean, it was wonderful. Observation car, dining car, really good meals. You got to go to the observation car, just look out your window during the desert, beautiful. The mountains, beautiful. You had stops to pick up people and let people off, and you'd get off. You could walk around for 45 minutes in a downtown area. You know, grab a burger, grab a dog, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You met new people. I thought that the dining car, I would hate it because I was traveling by myself, and due to, them having to put as many people as they could at the tables, it is after all a train, and schedule people to eat. They'd say, what time? You got between this hour and this hour. I thought I would hate that. Turned it out to be my favorite part of the trip because you got to meet new people. Where are you guys from? And yeah. And, I met a guy that was developing his own board game. I met a dude that collected Revolutionary War newspapers. I met interesting people. It was awesome. Anyway, Julian Caesar said John Denver ran out of fuel because he couldn't reach the switch to change fuel tanks. Couldn't reach or didn't understand. But you're right, Julian Caesar. It was a weird sort of switching over the fuel tank thing that he and his that plane was actually pretty experimental that he was flying. Docs who? Oh, docs. Let's not be talking about doxing going into the weekend, please. Just singing to you. Okay. Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germata says, what is delay? Delay is, I don't know what you're asking. I'm not going to try to, but I am glad you're here. I don't know if that's your picture or not. If it is your picture, well done. If it's not your picture, nice choice of a picture. I don't want to be hitting on people like a certain person I know. Terry Nee said, didn't Patrick Swayze get caught drunk flying? I don't know that. Harrison Ford's had a couple of almost trouble things. I don't know that they were caused by drinking, but he's had a couple of near problems there. Muted Growl says, Peggy Sue. Why did Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly all retire from the music industry in 1959? Their vocal cords were all damaged in a terrible accident. That's Ronald J. Bateman. Ronald has been to the condo for Bushmills. Julian Caesar says Cliff from Metallica died in a tour bus crash. He's the one. Red Wild Bill says trains cost more than a plane now. Well, yeah, but you don't have to buy the train. Also, you could buy a single car and outfit it and then just ask to be hooked on. I'm sure they got a fee for that. I saw it on the Wild Wild West. Trains are very expensive. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But not just being on one. I'm talking about just personal travel, not if you're a famous rock star. I'm talking about just me, my 6'5" rear end, getting in one of those roomettes and going somewhere. It is such, it's more of a journey. It's you don't have to, you don't spend 4 or 5 hours in a terminal, you know, you just walk onto the train, you show your ID and they put you on it. And I would not go a long distance like that in just a seat. No, I wouldn't do that. But when you buy the roomette, all your meals are included. And so you got your own little hotel room there rolling for 37 hours. And by the way, they have bigger rooms than that on them. They also have showers and stuff. I don't recommend using those. Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germata says, I love this channel. Well, Stephanie, we love having you. There you go. Tim Jenkinson says you need to get the Chinese back to build the high-speed trains, or the Japanese, yeah, with the magnets. Uncle Jack said Eric Clapton's very young side died in a flight accident. Well, a lack of flight accident. Tyler Schollenberger says Ric Flair was involved in a pretty serious plane crash back in the day as well. Several people passed away and he broke his back in the accident. He told never to wrestle again after it. A lot of those guys are. Stella! Stella! Hi, Stella. If you guys could just be nice to Stella. She had quite a rough time of it in Romania recently. Uncle Jack is smiling. That's always good. Stella is smiling. That's even better. Lucas Malago says, poor Cliff, black ice. They went searching for it, just couldn't find it. Uncle Jack was going to bring up Ric Flair. Stella says, miss hearing you in VC. Well, it jacks with my computer too much. And as we all know, I'm old and can't control my microphone. Oh, wait, it appears to be working perfectly here. That dude is a little, not going to say it. Never met a more self-important little, maybe again someday, maybe. But it just jacks with my stuff too much. Uncle Jack says, I didn't know if the person had to die. Well, they don't have to die, but it helps. Stella says, but the show seems great. Well, thank you. We've exploded this week by gaining. Okay, we've actually lost one subscriber. We are stuck at whatever it is. We just can't get past that number. And I'm still stuck on 4. Is it 4? I think it's 4 people that are subscribing to me on Patreon. And I think 3 of them are my family members. And the PayPal's not doing that great, although we sold a shirt and a clock this week. I have to have made $3 from that. So things are going great, Stella. Thank you. I'm glad the quality shows, especially with this high level of production value that we're exhibiting here. This is a great one to watch 2 days before I fly. Well, I'm sure they've ironed out all the problems, Tim. I wouldn't worry about it at all. Pretend you're Dennis Bergkamp and just don't fly. Stacy Allen, yes! Stacy Allen says that's Lady Gaga, silly. You know, you don't need a lot of reasons to like Stacy Allen. She's pretty awesome. But at the moment, you're giving me a million reasons, about a million reasons, giving me a million reasons, about a million reasons. I kneel down to pray and think about a love that... Anyway, let's see here. Harrison landed on the taxiway. Well, he did, but there was a plane taking off. He's had a couple of near misses. John Travolta flew into a treehouse once or twice. He did, but John Travolta, regardless of what else you might think of him, actually can fly. He can fly any kind of plane there is. He's actually good at it. George W. Bush, come on, man. SG fanboy, sabotage. Hey, JFK Jr., we may do that one too. I'm running out of, I got to get a new, okay, hold on here. I've got all these pieces of paper here and I can't really do anything with them. What's this say? Yakov Smirnoff. We're not doing a Yakov Smirnoff. Let's say, okay. Coming up on the show later, I still have the Pacers telethon. And I still have Bud Dwyer. We're going to do a show on Bud Dwyer. Some of you will be excited about that. Let's do JFK Jr. because if you get into that, nobody had to sabotage that. We're going to do Leinard Skynyrd. Skynyrd. Do I got anything else on here? Oh, yeah. Food floods. I have way more deadly food floods to tell you about. There's a beer chocolate, and there's a just beer, and then there's a whiskey one. These all killed people, by the way. They're not just floods. They killed people. You have to make it on the Tom Gully show. Let's see here. He was Rocky Mountain High. That's why he was confused, says the Wolf. Train rides are expensive. You know, they kind of are. They kind of are. Let me see. Dallas to Los Angeles Amtrak. Roomette. Let's see what we got here. Texas Eagle train. Here we go. That's the one that goes from Dallas to, that whole thing. Let me see here. Well, I want to book the damn thing, you butthead. Oh, book now. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, here, let's see if I can do this. Come on, man. You're supposed to make this easy for me. You really are. I don't understand these websites. I just don't. It's like this. You're supposed to make it easy. Okay, let's go to Los Angeles Union Station to Dallas Union Station. Dallas Union. What? Dallas. Oh, there it is. British. Depart date, return date. Let's see. Okay, let's just get crazy and let's do Wednesday. I don't need a return date yet. Done. And find trains. We're going to find trains now. Let's see how expensive this is. I got to hurry up. We got Uncle Phil. I don't want to go over into Uncle Phil's time. I don't want that. None of us want that. Okay. Private rooms. Okay, here we go. Texas Eagle, $572. Now, that's without me, searching for stuff. You can go Coach for $128, but that's $572. And that's for the roomette. If you want a family room, that's $1,000. But I'm sure you can get it cheaper, and if you're part of the Amtrak club, you get it even cheaper than that. But $572, and that's 37 hours. So you got to figure that's what you would pay for 2 days in a hotel room, right? And that's going to be 5 meals, something like that. So just depends on what you're. I'd rather do that than cheap it out on a plane. Personally, okay, maybe you take the plane one leg of the. So you take the plane to LA and then you come back on the train, or so. I don't know. It's a lot nicer. I'm just telling you. Julian Caesar says Bruce from Iron Maiden flies the band around in their own chartered jet. That's another way to do it, although Leonard Skinner, chartered jet. I am Terry Nee, says I'm 6'3". Planes, boats, MGs, and RVs are not for me. I hear you, Terry. I'm 6'5". As some have called me, I think the Wolf can back me up on this, the Gringo Giant. Great show. I feel lucky as hell, says the Reverend Wildville. Terry Nee says, love the clock. I love the clock. Stacey Allen says, oh my God, I wish I got that reaction everywhere I went. Thanks, Gully. You're welcome, Alan. Let's see here. Uncle Jack says, Stacey Allen, the Stacey Allen? Of course it is. Stacey is the bomb. She is. Stacey's the bomb. I kneel down to pray and think about a love that... Anyway, I love that song, by the way. And you're giving me a million reasons. Two Ultra Rude Dude says, hey, Tom, good to see you. Well, it's good to see you, too, although you are ultra rude. SG Fanboy says, Stacey Allen's Dabbleverse. Hey, wait a minute. I thought that was mine. Uncle Jack says, the meme face swap queen spreading her love across the interwebs. Let's see here. Tim Jenkinson says, Harrison had some near misses in the Millennium Falcons. Yeah, and he made the Kitmer run in less than 9 parsecs or something like that. Ronald J. Bateman says, I have a Bud Dwyer coffee mug, my favorite. I used to play that Bud Dwyer clip to early morning classes at Ball State when I would be asked to come up to speak. And I would go, everybody awake now? Lyndon 49 said there's a reason they don't hand out parachutes. Yeah, everybody would fight for him. Muna Grouse says Travolta owns and flies a 707. Yeah, he's really good. Kim Warfield, known as the Wolf, says you could do a show about Mike Guido. Yes, my arch nemesis, Mike Guido. Yakov Smirnov is an amazing American story, yes. I can't wait for the R. Bud Dwyer episode. Unfortunately, you used to be able to see that video all over the place. You can't see it anymore. Muta Grouse says Roy Halladay was in a stunt plane. Very reckless and dumb. Very. Fanboy, I watched Bud live. Ooh, Terry Nee. I was on the radio the day that happened, and man, oh man. Even just the audio. Terry Nee says, I was in Plymouth meeting. SG Fanboy says, before my time, but I have seen the video, Terry. Quite a bit of blood. Reverend Wild Bill says, are meals included? They are included. All the meals are included. Uncle Jack said, I was definitely in Philly. I don't remember where exactly. Those meals, Reverend Wild Bill, are extremely good, by the way. They are really good. SG Fanboy says, Duper Dave Osborne died in a plane crash once. He just actually died of dying recently. I think it was cancer. SG Fanboy. He's Albert Brooks's brother, by the way. Let's see here. Let's see him top that one. Ray and Tom should start a duet. Ray? You don't mean Ray DeVito. Please don't tell me that. I got 45 seconds till Uncle Phil. And you guys know I don't like to step on Uncle Phil's time. And I don't like you to miss him. So I want you to all have a great weekend. Thanks to everybody who's been in the room. Support us if you could. Mash that like button. Share, subscribe, do something. We'd appreciate it really a whole lot. A lot. Quite a bit. And I told you guys about this at the start of the show. Here's one of my lifelong friends who's the only person that's ever complained about one of my products. They should make the logo larger. Still like the shirt though. They're making the logo smaller today. What can I tell you? If I was you, I'd send it back and ask for my money back. But the style now is a little bit smaller. You're gigantic, dude. The logo's going to look like a postage stamp on you anyway. Am I not right about this? Anyway, that's all I got time for right now. You guys are the best. Support us however you can or want to, whatever. And with that being said, the only thing left to say is till next time, we'll see you next time. Right out of my pants.